Doing 2 NBA player props here on PrizePicks for Friday, November 17th. Before I get started, there is a link in the description below. You can hop into our premium Discord, $9.30 per month. It's where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. We also have other numerous premium cappers in there as well. I post all their plays, research, and analysis on PrizePicks, FanDuel, Underdog, multiple platforms, multiple different sports. Overall, super positive community. Everyone in there really just trying to help each other cash. I also want to mention I'm not a gambling expert, and this is not financial advice. These are simply plays I'm personally looking at making. Hopefully give you guys some insight and analysis to then make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one's pressing submit on those parlays other than yourselves. But let's get right into this video. First play here for this Friday slate is going to be Trey Young over 9.5 assists. He's coming off a game where he just had 17 assists. And again, new dad here. I think he had his second child or first child. I'm not sure. But again, coming off a game, 17 assists here, and it's a great matchup against Philly. We're taking a look at this matchup specifically, and we're looking at 236.5 over under, which is, I believe, the highest over under on the slate today. Again, some of these games don't have over unders yet just because of injury news, I think, but the highest over under on the slate for Trey Young at 236.5. I think it's a great spot for him. We look at over on Outlier, again, link in the description below. You get a 7-day free trial with Outlier. He's over this line in 7 of his last 10. Over his last 20, he's over in 13 of his last 20. If we filter this to specifically home games, he's over in 15 of his last 20 home games here, right? 15 of his last 20 home games. But what's very interesting here to me is that we go to Trey Young and we look at this head-to-head matchup. He's coming off a game last season at home against Philly where he had 20 assists. Now, new coaching staff, some new players on that team, obviously no James Harden and things like that. So, I don't like to necessarily compare year to year players and their matchups, but we look at point guards this season versus the 76ers. Okay, Tyrese Halliburton 17 assists. Tyrese Halliburton again 15 assists in both of those games on the road for Tyrese Halliburton. Dennis Schroeder 10 assists twice, right? 10 assists 2 different times. So we're looking at Dennis Schroeder, Tyrese Halliburton, 10 plus assists. Both of these guys had that 2 times here against Philadelphia. And that kind of coincides, in my opinion, here with Nick Nurse being the head coach, not the quarterback, the head coach for the 76ers now. Going back to last season, right, we targeted point guards versus the Raptors. If you were watching these videos last season, point guards against the Raptors, which that was where Nick Nurse was the head coach. Point guards against the Raptors were wagons, right? You could see here point guards last season versus the 76ers versus the Raptors, right? All these numerous point guards having 10 plus assists because normally point guards, not all the time, but are the team's best offensive player, just in half-court sets. And we know Nick Nurse loves to blitz and double those guys, which, creates a lot of opportunity for assists. Now, we look at Trey Young this season at home. He's averaging 17.8 potential assists and 11.6 assists per game at home. The only other player averaging more potential assists at home is Tyrese Halliburton, who you guys can see here, 17 and 15 assists in those 2 games with 0 turnovers. But again, 17 and 15 assists versus 76ers. You're saying Trey Young here can't get 10 assists. I'm not sure why the odds are not smashing the over. I mean, minus 125 over on FanDuel. But Trey Young, per 36 minutes this season at home, he's averaging 11.8 assists. Sorry, not potential. 11.8 assists. We look at Trey Young's splits here. Going back to last season, 10.7 assists at home compared to 9.6 on the road. And then even this season, the splits, obviously, players just assist the ball better at home. 11.6 assists at home compared to 10.2 on the road. So, I mean, Trey Young, he's averaging 10.9 on the season. I don't see a reason at home in this game with a 236.5 over-under. He can't get his 10 assists tonight. Again, like I said, coming off a 17 assist game, averaging more than 17 potential assists, at home. We just saw what Tyrese Halliburton did. And like I said, his last 3 games, against Philly, he's hit the over on this line as well. Coming off a 20 assist game last season against Philly. And, we kind of take a look at this matchup. Obviously, no James Harden, new head coach. But, I mean, it was a pretty weak lineup that the 76ers put out. And Trey Young was able to dominate them pretty easily. And for the most part, the Atlanta Hawks are putting out the same lineup here. So, again, Trey Young at 9.5, too low. I definitely think maybe this has a chance to bump up to 10. I'm surprised it's not at 10, to be honest. And this is the first play. Second play here is going to be a sneaky one. And, again, if you're in the Discord, you know how I feel about this play. And it's one I've been going to. It's going to be Cam Reddish over 10.5 points. Cam Reddish started now for the Lakers. If you didn't know, I'm a Laker fan, so I do watch these games. And, since becoming a starter, 17, 18, 10 against Memphis, and then 16 points a few nights ago against Sacramento. This is a planned game, so, I'm expecting starters and across the board to play a ton of minutes here. But yeah, we look at Cam Reddish, right? Last 5 games, he's gone over, and his only miss came with 10. We look deeper dive at kind of his game log, right, over his last 4 games since becoming a starter. I mean, his plus minus, he's plus 7, plus 10, plus 16, and 0. I mean, he's going to continue to get these 30-plus minute games. Like, the Darvin Ham is going to continue to play Cam Reddish. He's seeing 5 steals here, 3 steals, and a block here, 3 steals. he's really, really playing well. And I mean, his only miss here came with 10 points, where he only took 7 field goal attempts. Every other start that he's made, he's had at least 10 field goal attempts. And he just faced Portland at home, right? A few days ago on November 12th, 5 days ago. He played 38 minutes, 18 points, 7 for 10 from the field, he scored 18 points on only one three-pointer. Right, in every other game, he's made 2+, got to the free throw line 3 times, and it's kind of a revenge game for Cam Reddish, right? Portland had him, I think, last season. They decided to let him go, not re-sign him. So I think that's somewhat of a narrative. I don't like to really harp on, player narratives and revenge games specifically like that. But aside from that, Cam Reddish already scoring 18 versus Portland a few days ago. Him playing extremely well as a starter. Right, him playing with LeBron suits his game extremely well. I love the move that they made, moving Austin Reeves to the bench. LeBron is questionable for this one, so I definitely think this line will bump up if LeBron somehow gets ruled out. The Lakers are 8.5-point favorites here, but I'm expecting them to take the game very serious. It being a play-in game, that point differential does matter. And again, if LeBron gets ruled out, it's even more offensive usage for a player like Cam Reddish. I think he gets one of the biggest bumps on the team. And we just look at guards, right? Look how many guards have hit the over on this 10.5-point line. Super low line here. Joe Harris had 11 points in 17 minutes here, right? Donovan Mitchell just put up 34 on Portland. We know Portland struggles against guards. Really, they don't have anyone that's going to, Shaedon Sharp's a pretty good defender, but across the board, right? Like Portland is 3-8 in guards and even forwards, right? We look at Cam Reddish, and in that same game, where Cam Reddish had 18, Rui Hachimura had 19, right? We've seen numerous players similar to Cam Reddish's game. Zaire Williams, very similar offensive player. Harrison Barnes, you could consider as a very similar offensive player. So, I mean, even Taurean Prince in that game had 11 points, 5 for 9. So it's a great spot. We're looking at all 3 wings, really, for the Lakers besides LeBron. Cam Reddish, 18, Rui Hachimura, 19, and Taurean Prince, all in the same game, having 11+ points. And then Cam Reddish, honestly, you guys, he's just a bucket. Like, if we take a look at his career game log, when he takes 10+ field goal attempts, which is essentially what he's really been averaging, since becoming a starter on this team, let's just say at least 10. I mean, look at the lines. Like, Cam Reddish has pretty much hit the over on this line every game except for 7 times, right? We're talking about back in 2020, 2021. So, like, when Cam Reddish sees minutes and sees usage and sees volume, he can put the ball in the hoop. Elite shooter, can make 3-point shots. I think he's a 3-level scorer. So I think this line is just a little bit too low. Maybe I'm a little biased being a Laker fan, but Cam Reddish, I love seeing him in this role with the Lakers, playing extremely well. I like it at 10.5. So we hit the 2 YouTube plays for this video. Again, also looking at outlier, some nice odds for us. -125 over on BetMGM for Cam Reddish to go over this line. I do want to share that as well. But you guys, drop a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button. Check out all the links in the description. And as always, let's cash.